I'm Bill Gray. I'm a professor emeritus in the Department of Atmospheric Science at Colorado State University in Fort Collins. That's north of Denver, about 70 miles.
Hurricane season, and what are we looking for 2009?
Well, we're seeing about an average season now. With our first forecast in early December, we were calling for an above-average season. We're now calling for about an average season. Since early December, there's been some cold water develop off the West African coast, and the southern Atlantic has warmed a bit, and we have kind of a little colder water in the North Atlantic, warmer water in the South Atlantic, and that typically leads to seasons that aren't so active. Also, there's an El Nino potential forming out there. We think perhaps a weak warming for this summer. That may reduce the storm some. But still, we're calling for an average year, which is we're calling for 12 named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 2 major storms. And everyone should prepare the same. We're also putting out a new thing. My colleague Phil Klotzbach has developed these new probabilities for the Bahamas. He's put it in the North Bahamas, Central, and South, and they'll be available on our website for people that want to learn about it. It gives the percentage or the probability of named storm or hurricane or major hurricane coming within 100 miles of the various islands and things. Whether we put out a very active forecast or a very inactive forecast, you've got to prepare for it, because there could be only one storm and it comes over you. Well, there could be a whole lot of storms out there, and none of them come over you.
Max Mayfield, chairman of this year's Bahamas Weather Conference and former director of the National Hurricane Center.
So, Mr. Mayfield, what's different about this year's conference compared to last and the years before?
Well, there's certainly some lessons learned from every hurricane season. We're certainly focusing on Hurricane Ike and Gustav from last year. But this conference is really not just about presentations. We really want to change the outcome for the better in future hurricane events. And the idea is to help educate the weathercasters from all over, and then let them go back and educate their public through their own TV station.
I'm Steve Lyons, and I work for the Weather Channel.
And Steve, how's this season shaping up this year?
Well, the bottom line is you need to be prepared equally well every year, because it only takes one to devastate your area. And, of course, in the Bahamas, you have a very large area of real estate with islands on it. It could be the southern islands that get a hurricane this year. The northern one could go all the way through most of the islands and affect many of them. Turns out in about half of the years, most of the Bahamas is affected in some way by a tropical storm or a hurricane, whether it be by rain or high waves or by the wind itself.
Do you think this conference is helping the Bahamas as far as weather forecasting for our region?
I definitely think so. A lot of people that are in the media on the mainland are unfamiliar with how many islands you have and the aerial extent of the islands. It's a very huge area, so that's very important. And also they're more aware of the water component of damage for the coastline. Most of the time we're preoccupied with the wind. And that Saffir-Simpson scale is a wind scale primarily. And hopefully, I've been trying to talk to all these people and tell them that there are 5 toes to the hurricane footprint on the coastline or even on an island. One is wind, and that's a Saffir-Simpson scale. One is the water rise, which can be caused by wind and waves. Another one is rainfall flooding, which can be devastating. And then another one is the wave action itself that can cause tremendous beach erosion and loss of life. And the final baby toe is a tornado threat. You don't have as much a tornado threat here in the Bahamas as you do on the mainland, but even so, you can get tornadoes associated with a hurricane, even in the Bahamas.
I've been here 7-8 times now. The last 7 or 8, I don't think I've missed any recently. Maybe I'm getting too old. I should stay home after a while. But I have a very very talented, very young colleague, Phil Klotzbach, that's taking over and doing a little more of the forecasting that I am now. I'm working a lot on the global warming issue, and we're trying to write a book on hurricane structure, intensity change, and those sorts of topics. This is my 26th year of doing it. I've been in studying the tropics and in tropical storms over 50 years now. So hopefully I've learned something along the way, but some of my critics may say I haven't learned near enough as I should have. I've taken an issue on this global warming. I think it's been very much exaggerated, and I know the people of the Bahamas where the land heights are not so high. You're worried that the sea might rise and flood a lot of you out. That's I think hyperbole. It's this won't happen. Yes, the sea's rising a little bit, but it's very slow, and all these things that we'll see sea rises of 20 feet or something. I think that's just not correct. If we have no reason to think that humans are causing the climate to change. We have had global warming, though. The last century, the globe has warmed, and I see this as us coming out of the little ice age some, and due to natural processes, more the ocean general circulation, and not humans. Humans may have done a little bit, but not near as much as the global models have been saying. I'm convinced that, 10, 15, 20 years, we're going to look back on this as quite an over-exaggeration. Okay. I may not live to see it. But I know you will, and I know most of the people living in the Bahamas now will. Former Vice President Al Gore has stirred the world up a little too much, and a lot of environmentalists and everything follow them, and some of the global modeling groups have exaggerated tremendously.
When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. Oh. The plane them spanking clean, the pilots them voice red. They fly you out on time, they flight attendants great. Service is their passion, with you they take good care. Safety is their culture, yes, they'll get you there. When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. An airline you can trust. Sky Bahamas. Yes. So come and fly with us. Sky Bahamas. When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. Oh. The plane them spanking clean, the pilots them voice red. They fly you out on time, they flight attendants great. Service is their passion, with you they take good care. Safety is their culture, yes, they'll get you there. When I fly with Sky.